Hi, it's Tara Davis, and welcome. You are going to love today's topic, love and divorce. Can they even be in the same sentence? Actually, they can. I am living proof that you can attempt to divorce your husband as many times as you want and still be fully in love with your partner. So, fortunately for both of us, we are still married. We have learned so much through our relationship and so much through our attempts at divorce. It only gets better. So I've been inspired to start sharing with you my personal journey. I've had an incredible journey of learning of my truth, learning about life, learning about myself. And so I've recently been inspired to start sharing all the different keys and things that I have learned along my journey. I kind of shied away because I thought that it might be too much of a roller coaster, but roller coaster or not, I am thrilled to start sharing with you. So let's start with the attempts of my divorce. One of the key elements that brought me to my first, second, and third attempt was the fact that I was not living in my truth. I was not taking care of myself. I didn't even know what my truth was in the beginning of our marriage. I got married to a loud, overbearing, controlling husband, and I was brought up to not talk a whole lot, just be quiet and listen and do what you're told. Thus, I married and was that same person. And so I didn't know what to do with this relationship. And so finally, I thought, well, it's all about you, and you're the one making all of this tumultuous stuff happen. And so clearly, I need to divorce you. When in actuality, it was me. It was me who was not speaking up and living in my truth. I wasn't being heard because I wasn't speaking. You got to speak if you want to be heard, right? So I didn't even know what my truth was. So, how can I speak up if I didn't know what that was? Lucky for us, there's therapy. And so ultimately, I went to therapy because I was feeling angry and bitter and resentful and sad and unhappy. And I used all of this against my husband, once again, thinking it was him. Rather than taking stock in my inner life, I was really focused on my outer life. I had yet to learn to start looking within and really cultivating a relationship with myself. I was cultivating the anger that was on the outside rather than the love that was inside that wanted to come out and be heard. So let's clarify real quick what truth means, because our truth is different for everyone. The truth is the truth of you. So my truth is different for your truth. So at the time, especially in our first attempt of divorce, the truth for me was learning to speak up, learning to use my voice. I had never really had this challenge before. So it was learning to say what I was feeling and own those feelings instead of apologizing for how I was feeling. It was learning to use my voice and stand my ground when I desired something, or when I didn't expect something to happen, or when I did expect something to happen, rather than laying everything out and then, oh, it's okay, that doesn't have to happen. It was learning to speak and be in my truth. That was a gift. Instead of looking at all three times as divorcing, I've actually looked at them now as gifts. My husband has given me one of the greatest gifts of learning to use my voice. He continually allows me to use my voice. Now, I will say, after well over 20 years of marriage, he is definitely not that person. So I want to be clear on that. But I have learned over so much time how to use that gift that he came into this relationship to give me. I actually took classes, I was so committed at one point, on conscious language and nonviolent communication because I desired to be in a place of communication that when we spoke up and we each came to the table with our issues, that it wasn't me versus you, or I'm right and you're wrong. I wanted us to experience a neutrality that we could have and express our desires versus I'm right and you're wrong, and it's me versus you. Ultimately, when we don't speak this way, separation does occur. And it doesn't have to even be that physical place of divorce. It can be the separation of me versus you. And we start to separate a little bit more from each other and a little bit more. And so I've got to say that each time I have tried, I actually became complacent. I was under the assumption that, okay, we fixed this problem, now we're good. And then I would kind of go back into old habits, and then I would realize, oh my God, you're doing all of this wrong again. And it also takes it up to the next level. As we grow and mature within ourselves and within our relationships, we get to up level all of our communication and whatever it is that is ultimately our truth. So I invite you to see, what is your truth? What is your truth in your relationship? Are you living in your truth? Are you putting it by the wayside? Do you even know really how you feel in this relationship besides the love that is probably already there? I invite you to allow yourself to go to the potentially really deep places where those conversations are had that are pretty challenging to have. Allow yourself to go there. I would love to hear how this sparks conversation in your mind. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Peace and love.